Hello everyone. Our today's topic is the fermentation media. So, before going directly to fermentation media, what is the fermentation process? Fermentation process by definition it is a metabolic process which are carried out with the help of microorganisms or which are carried out by our microorganisms in which some economically important or economically valuable products are produced. So simply we can say that it is the process of production of valuable products with the help of microorganisms. And also in a fermentation process, the choice of the most optimum microorganism or the choice of the most efficient microorganism and also the selection of the optimal fermentation media is very important for the high yield of product. And also the quality of the fermentation media is very important because it is the one which provides the nutrients and energy for the growth of microorganisms. By definition, fermentation is the metabolic process which are carried out by microorganisms which will lead to the production of the economically important or economically valuable products. And for the success of the fermentation process, the two important factors that we have to consider is the selection of the best or the efficient microorganism and also the selection of the optimum fermentation media. So these are the two important factors that influence the success of a fermentation process or the one that influences the product yield of a fermentation process. Why the quality of the fermentation process is that much important? Because it is the one which provides the nutrients and energy required for the growth of the microorganisms. And also besides this fermentation media will provide substrate for the product synthesis in the fermenter. So this fermentation media is the one that provides the nutrients required for the growth of the microorganisms, and also at the same time they will provide the substrate required for the product synthesis in the fermentation process. So our fermentation is a metabolic process. It is a process which are carried out with the help of microorganisms which will lead to the production of valuable products. And also the two important factors that we have to consider in a fermentation process is the selection of the best microorganism and also the best fermentation media. In the case of the fermentation media, it is the one that will provide all the required nutrients and energy for the growth of the microorganism, and also it will provide the substrate for the product synthesis in the fermentation process or in the fermenter. And also the nutrients required for the fermentation media usually depends upon the type of the fermentation organism as well as the type of the fermentation process to be used. So the nutrients or the composition of a fermentation media always vary. It depends upon the type of the microorganism, the type of the fermentation organism, and as well as the and also the type of the fermentation process. So based on the microorganism and also the process of fermentation, the composition of the fermentation media or the nutrients present in the fermentation media also varies. And also the poor choice of a fermentation media, obviously it will result in the poor yield or it will affect the success of the fermentation process. And the types of the nutrients which are present in the fermentation media always determine the yield of the product. So the nutrient present in the media and also the composition of the media is the one that influences the yield of the product of a fermentation process. And then coming to the composition of a fermentation media, we can simply say that or broadly say that the fermentation media consists of the major and the minor components, and the major components include the carbon source, nitrogen source, etc., whereas the minor components include the inorganic salts, vitamins, growth factors, antiforming agents, buffers, dissolved oxygen, growth inhibitors, enzymes, dissolved gases, etc. So broadly we can say that. And for the composition of a fermentation media, which requires some major components or the major nutrients and also some minor components, and the major components are the one which is required for the growth, and it include the carbon source, nitrogen source, etc., whereas the minor components are the one which are required only in the trace amount, and it include vitamins, growth factors, antiforming agents, buffers, etc. Then coming to the uses of the fermentation media, mainly or broadly there are mainly two uses of the fermentation media. That is, it act as the growth media for the growth of the microorganisms, and also it acts as the fermentation media. So the major two uses of the fermentation media is as a growth media and fermentation media. Coming to the growth medium, it contains the low amount of nutrients, and also it is useful in creating raw material for the further fermentation process. So the when the fermentation media is used as a growth media for the microorganisms, it will create the raw material for the further fermentation process. And in the case of the fermentation media, it contains high amount of nutrients as compared to the growth medium, and also it is in creating the final products during the fermentation, or it is used in creating final products using the fermentation process. So coming to the uses of the fermentation media, it can be used as a growth media and also the fermentation media. In the case of the growth media, it contains only low amount of nutrients, and it is useful in creating raw material for the further fermentation process. And in the case of the fermentation media, it contains high amount of nutrients as compared to the growth media, and also it is used in creating final products during the fermentation process. Then coming to the different types of the fermentation media, first one is a synthetic media. Here every component is chemically known and the exact composition of the nutrient is predetermined. So in the case of the synthetic media, each and every component of the media is well known, and also the exact composition of the nutrients is predetermined. And in synthetic media, variation in levels and concentration of the nutrients can be controlled. Since we know the composition, we know the exact composition of the synthetic media, it is very easy to it is very easy to control the variation in the levels and the concentration of the nutrients present in the fermentation media. And also with this synthetic media, the effect of the nutrients on the growth and yield of the product can be analyzed. So this type of synthetic media can also be used to study about the effect of the different nutrients or the concentration of the different nutrients on the growth and yield of the products. Hence it can be used to optimize the media. Also we can know the concentration and required for the growth and also the yield of the product by the microorganisms. And also we can redesign the synthetic media as per our need, and it is very useful in controlling the growth and yield of the product in the lab environment. And also it can be used to determine the metabolic pathway used in the synthesis of the product. So the first type of the fermentation media is a synthetic media. It is the one in which the exact composition of the nutrient is predetermined, or the exact composition of the nutrients is well known. And in synthetic media, variation in level and the concentration of the nutrients can be controlled. So it can also be used to optimize the concentration and also the nutrients present in the fermentation media. And also since it is a predetermined media, it is very useful in controlling growth and yield of the products in lab environment. And another use is that it can be used to determine the metabolic pathway used in the synthesis of the valuable products. An advantage of a well-designed synthetic media is that it lacks some sources of the proteins and peptides. Hence, there is no foam formation. Another advantage is that there is no foam formation, and also hence the chance of contamination is very low. And here the product recovery is easier because the synthetic media contains the pure components. So the nutrients present is in the purest form, and also it is very easy to recover the product. And a major disadvantage is that it is the cost of the media. Here, since all the nutrients are present in the purest form, and it is not a cost effective one. And the most important aspect of the fermentation is that it should be economic and profitable. And the synthetic media is never used on the industrial scale because it is very expensive, and this process is only suitable for the lab experiments or in the small scale production. So another, coming to another disadvantage is that when we are using the synthetic media, chance of contamination, because since there is no foam formation, the chance of contamination is very low, and also the product recovery is also very easy. So besides that, there are some disadvantages. The first disadvantage is that it is not a cost effective one. And also the most important aspect of fermentation media is that it should be economic. So once we are using the synthetic media, the process will not be cost effective, it will not be economic and profitable, and so it is not used in the industrial scale fermentation. It can be used for the experimental lab procedures and also for the small scale production. And the second type is the crude media, and the crude media is generally used on the industrial scale fermentation process, and it gives high yield of the product and contains some undefined sources of the ingredient. So the exact composition of the crude media is not known, and the crude media contains high level of nutrients, vitamins, proteins, growth factors, anti-forming agents, precursors, etc. And also it is very important to ensure that the crude media should not contain any toxic substances that affect the growth of the bacteria and also that interfere the yield of the product. So the second type of the media is the crude media, and it is the one where the exact composition is not well known, and this type of crude media is mainly used in the industrial scale fermentation products. And here the exact composition is not known, and it contains some undefined ingredients or the sources, and but this crude media contains high nutrients, vitamins, proteins, etc. And we must ensure that since it contains some undefined sources, we must ensure that it should not contain any toxic substances that will affect the growth of the microorganisms and also that interfere the yield of the product. The next important topic is the different ingredients present in the crude media. First one is the inorganic nutrients, and the crude media contains some inorganic salts containing cations and anion along with the carbon source, and sometimes this fermentation microorganism have a specific requirement of the magnesium ions, phosphates, sulfates, etc. And also these requirements are usually fulfilled fulfilled by the addition of these ions to balance the crude media. So the first ingredient is the inorganic nutrients, and this crude media contains the inorganic salts and sometimes the fermentative microorganisms. The fermentation microorganisms have some specific requirements of ions. So sometimes it will be magnesium ion, phosphates, sulfates, etc. And these requirements and these specific requirements are usually fulfilled by the addition of that specific ions to the crude media. So by adding that specifically required ions, we can encourage the we can enhance the growth of the microorganisms and thereby the product yield. And the second source is the carbon source, and see it is a simple to complex carbohydrates can be used as the sources of carbon, and the different sugars like mannitol, sorbitol, organic acid, proteins, peptides, etc. can be used as a carbon source, and the selection of the carbon source usually depends upon the availability as well as the cost of the raw material. And the simple carbohydrates like blackstrap molasses, corn molasses, beet molasses, etc. can be used. And also coming to the complex carbohydrate, the source of complex carbohydrates, starch, arc starch, corn, rice, wheat, potatoes, etc. So the second ingredient is the or the second coming the carbon source, and from simple to complex carbohydrates can be used as the carbon sources. Mannitol, sorbitol, organic acid, fatty acids, etc. are the commonly used sources of the carbon. And the since different carbon sources are present there, since there is a wide variety of carbon sources, the selection of the carbon sources mainly depends upon the availability as well as the cost. And examples of the simple carbohydrates are blackstrap molasses, corn molasses, beet molasses, etc. And coming to complex carbohydrates, it include starch, corn, rice, wheat, potatoes, etc. And the third one is the nitrogen source, and the source of urea, ammonia, nitrate, etc. can be used as a nitrogen source in the fermentation media. And when once the fermentation organisms are non-proteolytic in nature, some pure form of nitrogen like urea, ammonia, nitrate, etc. can be used. And when fermentation organisms are proteolytic in nature, some animal and plant raw materials can be used as a nitrogen source like the casein, cereal grains, peptones, yeast extract, etc. So the third one is the nitrogen source. Source of urea, ammonia, and the nitrate are the commonly used nitrogen sources. And depending upon the organisms, the nitrogen source also varies. If it is a fermented, if the fermentation organism is non-proteolytic in nature, urea, ammonia, nitrate, etc. are used. Whereas if it is proteolytic in nature, some plant and animal raw materials are used. Examples are the casein, cereal grains, peptones, yeast extract, etc. And the fourth one is the growth factors, and the crude media constituents provides enough amount of the growth factors, so there is no need to add extra growth factors. And if there is any lack of vitamins or nutrients, some growth factors can be added to the media, and the examples are the yeast extract, beef extract, etc. So the fourth one is the growth factors, and usually this crude media constituents itself will provide enough amount of the growth factors required for the microorganisms, so there is no need to add some extra growth factors. And if there is any lack of the growth factors, vitamins or nutrients, we have to add some extra growth factors, and the sources are the yeast extract, beef extract, etc. And the fifth one is the precursors, and the precursors are usually present in the media as the crude constituents, and they are added in the fermentation media at the time of the fermentation, because as it is incorporated in the molecules of the product without bringing any kind of change to the final product. And also this will help in improving the quality, and also it will influence the yield of the product. And sometimes some precursors are added in its purest form depending upon the need of the product. And one example is the cobalt chloride is added in less than 10 parts per million in fermentation of the vitamin B12. So the fifth one is the precursors, and they are usually present in the media as a crude constituents, and are added in fermentation media usually at the time of the fermentation, and they will get incorporated in the molecules, and they will be incorporated in the product without bringing any change in the final product. And also besides this, they will help in improving the quality and also the yield of our product. And sometimes some precursors are added in pure form depending upon the need, and examples is the cobalt chloride added during the production of the vitamin B12. And the sixth one is the buffers. Buffers are usually used to control the changes in pH. And sometimes the media components will act as buffers, and example is the protein, peptides, amino acids, etc. act as a good buffers at the neutral pH. And sometimes some inorganic buffers like dipotassium hydrogen phosphate, potassium dihydrogen phosphate, calcium carbonate, etc. will be added extra. And generally during the fermentation process, pH changes to acidic or alkaline pH, and the cheapest and also the easily available buffer is the calcium carbonate. So sometimes some buffers are extra added in order to control or in order to modify the pH of the fermentation media, and examples are dipotassium hydrogen phosphate, potassium dihydrogen phosphate, calcium carbonate, etc. And the seventh one is the inducers and the elicitors. And if a product formation is dependent on a specific inducer, the compound it must be incorporated into the medium, or it must be added at a specific point during the fermentation process. And the majority of the enzymes are inducible. Example, the starch or dextrin addition during the fermentative production of the amylase, and also in some plant cell culture production of secondary metabolites, it can be triggered by adding some elicitors. So the seventh one is the inducers and the elicitors. And if a product formation is dependent on some specific inducers, it must be incorporated, that particular compound must be incorporated into the fermentation media or must be added at some specific point of fermentation. And coming to example, some majority of the enzymes are inducible. It requires the inducers during the production. And one example is the starch or dextrin must be added as the inducers during the fermentation of the amylase. And in some plant cell cultures, production of the secondary metabolites can be triggered by adding elicitors. And the eighth one is the inhibitors. They are added to inhibit the production of some unwanted metabolic intermediates. So during the fermentation process, there is chance of the production of unwanted metabolic intermediate also, which will inhibit the fermentation process or which will affect the quality of the product. And in order to reduce that, we have to add some extra inhibitors, and they are added to inhibit the production of these unwanted metabolic intermediates. And one example is the addition of the sodium bisulfate as the inhibitor in order to reduce or in order to stop the production of the unwanted metabolic intermediates. And the ninth one is the water. All fermentation process except some solid state fermentation require the addition of large quantity of water. So besides in media preparation, the water is also required for heating, cooling, cleaning, etc. And also the reuse of water is also very important during the fermentation process. And the tenth one is the oxygen, and depending upon the oxygen requirement, it may be supplied as air or as the pure oxygen. So the oxygen supply completely depends upon the oxygen requirement of the microorganisms. If they are aerobic, then the oxygen will be required. The oxygen will be supplied either as air or as the pure oxygen. And the 11th one is the antifoams, and these antifoams are used in the fermentation process in order to reduce the foam formation during the fermentations. We know that the foam formation will lead to the contamination of the media and also thereby hinder the product yield of the fermentation process. So it is very important to prevent the foam formation during the fermentation process. For that we have to add some antifoams, and also there are different types of antifoams present, and during the selection of the antifoams we have to consider some factors, and these are the an ideal antifoam must be, it must disperse readily and must have fast in action, it must be active at low concentration, it must be long acting, and also it should not be metabolized, it should not be toxic, should be cheap and also readily available. And the examples are the alcohols, insoluble oils, stearates, silicon derivatives, ethers, glycol, etc. So the antifoam agent that we have to select must be non-toxic. It should not affect the quality of the product, and also it must be cheap, and also it must be readily available. Examples are the alcohols, insoluble oils, stearates, etc., etc. Okay, thank you.